Welcome to Cosmo Talks. I'm Petra. In this episode, we explore how stress reveals your system quality and how you can be a good host for your microorganisms, because together you form a fascinating ecosystem. And when the interaction is right, when the crosstalk functions optimally, you flourish. Under normal circumstances, most people function fine. You get up, you do your day, you go to sleep. Everything works, more or less. But then stress comes, a deadline, a crisis, an infection, a period of intensive load, and suddenly you see who's truly strong, not who seems strong at rest, but who stays standing under pressure. Stress is not an enemy to avoid. It's a test that reveals how robust your system really is. Acute stress, short-term, manageable challenges, is a test, a question to your system. Can you handle this? A healthy system answers that question with yes. It responds, adapts, and returns to baseline. It might even come out stronger, a phenomenon we call hormesis. A fragile system answers with dysregulation. It responds, but doesn't return well. The stress leaves traces. Each subsequent stress event adds damage. The difference isn't in the stress, it's in the system receiving the stress. Stress is a test for your adaptive systems. When you're under stress, your entire physiology must adjust. Your HPA axis activates and produces cortisol. Your sympathetic nervous system springs into action. Your immune system shifts to alertness. Your energy metabolism adapts. All these adjustments must happen in a coordinated way. And after the stress, they must be reduced again. Your system must return to rest. A high-quality system does this quickly and efficiently. The stress response turns on when needed and turns off when the threat has passed. A low-quality system does this sloppily. The response turns on too late, or too hard, or stays on too long. The return to baseline is slow or incomplete. Your microbiome influences both phases. In the stress phase, your microbiome modulates the intensity of the response. Certain bacterial strains produce substances that calm the HPA axis. In the absence of these strains, the stress response can become exaggerated. In the recovery phase, your microbiome helps with the return to baseline. The anti-inflammatory substances your gut bacteria produce are essential to wind down the stress response. Studies with germ-free mice without a microbiome, show this dramatically. Their stress response is exaggerated and their recovery is delayed. Their systems are more vulnerable to stress. The microbiome is literally part of their stress buffer. At Cosmo Group, we used stress periods as a diagnostic window, not to torment people, but because stress reveals what rest hides. Athletes in the run-up to important competitions showed their true system quality. Some thrived under pressure. Their markers stayed stable. Their performances peaked at the right moment. Others fell apart. Their inflammation markers rose. Their sleep worsened. Their performances dropped just when it mattered. The difference predicted who would perform. Not the training, not the talent, the system quality under pressure. A swimmer illustrates this. In training, she was excellent. But at important competitions, she consistently performed below her level. Competition nerves, she thought. Her data showed something else. Her stress response didn't just turn on, it turned on too hard and stayed on too long. Her system overreacted and didn't recover in time. Her microbiome showed the picture: low diversity, few GABA-producing strains, reduced capacity to modulate the HPA axis. We built up her stress buffer, not through stress training, but through microbiome support. After 6 months, Her competition performances were finally in line with her training. Her talent had always been there. Her system just couldn't show it under pressure. Stress is not the enemy, it's the messenger. When you fall apart under stress, that tells you something about your system quality, not about your character, not about your strength, about your biology. And biology is influenceable. Instead of avoiding stress, you can prepare your system for stress. Build your stress buffer. Increase your adaptive capacity. Then stress becomes not a threat, but a test you can pass, perhaps even training that makes you stronger. The goal is not a stress-free life. The goal is a system that can handle stress. The biohack: introduce controlled stress. Small, manageable stressors train your system to deal with stress. Cold showers, interval training, short-term fasting. The principle is hormesis. Small stress makes stronger, but it must be controlled. You choose the timing, the duration, the intensity. Start small. 1 minute cold at the end of your shower. 1 short sprint during your walk. 1 morning skipping breakfast. You're not just training your discipline, you're training your system to deal with stress. This was Cosmo Talks. Remember, you're not a machine that can break down. You're an ecosystem that responds, and that's good news. You're not alone in this. Your body is always working with you. Visit cosmogroup.eu. Until next time.